I can't believe I kind of forgot about this one, because I loved playing this game so much back in the day. And with its recent surge in popularity, I decided to revisit this game once more. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Don't Starve Together and whether it is worth it to buy right now or not. Or rather, it's not about actually buying it, it's actually playing it, because this game costs dirt cheap. So without further ado, let's just get it started. And yeah, before we're gonna go to the verdict right away, I just want to emphasize that we're talking about only about Don't Starve Together, not the single player version of Don't Starve. We're talking about only multiplayer version. And don't worry, if you want to know about the differences between those two versions, we're gonna touch that in this video as well. And as always, as every single one of my videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away to not waste your time and give you time to play this extremely amazing game. And the answer is yes. Don't Starve Together is extremely worth it to play. However, it's much more pleasant experience if you're gonna play it with your friends, because this game is more catered towards playing with your friends. And even though this game is extremely fun, it's in solo as well, still worth it to buy for solo experience as well. I think the original Don't Starve experience is a bit better for a single player. And don't worry, I will explain everything. Oh, and by the way, our Steam Curator page is already up and running, so if you want to see all of my reviews, videos, and a little bit of text review right there on Steam before you're gonna buy anything, just go and follow us there on Steam so that you will not miss my reviews when you are buying the games. Now back to the video. Okay, first things first, what even is Don't Starve Together? So Don't Starve Together is a kind of like a sequel, or more like a multiplayer branch of original Don't Starve, which came out in 2013. And yeah, this game actually came out only a few years after that. And key point of this game, it's a Don't Starve experience that you can play with up to 6 friends. Or rather, up to 6 people in total, for well, you and 5 friends. Or at least that's available in vanilla version. I think you can play this with more people. To be fair, I haven't tried it, so yeah, don't quote me on that. But what even is Don't Starve? Don't Starve is a survival experience as literally as it can be. And I mean that this game is literally all about surviving, because the majority of the survival games are overlooking the aspect of survival towards more like a building of an empire. Like for example, Ark is, well, far less survival than, well, building up and up and up. This is literally about survival, because this game is hard to survive it. You're starting in this unforgiving world where your goal is to not die, to not starve, hence Don't Starve, and to not go insane as well, because these are 3 main mechanics that you need to control: your health, your hunger meter, and your sanity. But even explaining this so simple does not give this game justice, because this game is extremely complex. And by complex, I don't mean very difficult. Well, even though it is difficult, but it's not also very difficult to understand a lot of different things, even though game is not doing a good job of explaining those things. And in most other senses, it's as simple survival experience as it can be. So you are in this world, you have a top-down view, kind of like a 2D stylistic world, even though the world is not actually in 2D, you can actually look in all the different directions. The world has a bunch of different biomes, and your goal is to build your food, gather your materials, craft and build shelter, and, well, not die. And at first, gameplay loop is reviving towards day and night cycle. There is daytime, there is, well, evening time, and there is nighttime. In daytime, well, everything is much easier, you see everything around you, but as day progresses, everything becomes darker and darker until the nighttime will come. And nighttime, it's not that it's, well, difficult to see, it's literally pitch black. And difficulty rises because, yeah, most of your characters do not like nighttime, and their sanity will go down. So you need to take care of food and even your light, because, yeah, nighttimes are pretty scary. But that's not all that you need to take care of, because as time progresses, your sanity will go down, and when your sanity will go down, you will start seeing shadow creatures around you. And when the sanity will reach to its bottom, or rather required level, those shadow creatures will actually, well, materialize and will be attacking you all the time. At first, it might seem that you need to try your best to not allow to do that, but as you progress the game, you will actually need those, because those shadow creatures are actually dropping some loot that you will require in the mid to late game. So again, but that's not all, because game has not just day and night system, it also has a season system. As time progresses and by default you play on autumn or fall, the seasons will change, and when the winter comes, well, the situation will become a bit more difficult for you, because now you need to think of food, because food will become more scarce, and also taking care of your installation, because, yeah, it's cold outside. And in addition to that, new enemies will appear during winter time. Then it's spring, where the situation is a bit better, and then there is summer, and summer is as difficult as winter is, because now you need to take control of lowering your temperature, because everything practically around you will start setting on fire because it's extremely hot. But what keeps game varied even after you're gonna master all the seasons is the different characters. You have multiple different characters, and if I will just go through talking about each and every character, it will take probably a few hours of the video. But you should understand that each character plays like radically different from each other. Like the default character Wilson is, well, as bare bones and as all-rounder character as it can be, because the only unique thing that he has is that he grows beard. And at first you might think that it's absolutely useless thing, but it's actually not, because the beard actually provides you additional insulation during the winter time. So it's kind of like your additional coat. So it has some additional benefits as well. But there are a bunch of different characters with their own quirks and caveats. For example, there are characters that are actually not afraid of dark at all, and their sanity will not go down during the dark. There are characters that love fire, and they can walk in a fire and set fire to everything, and that makes them happier. But also it makes them extremely susceptible to wintertime, because it's very difficult to warm her up. There's a character that has a ghost of twin sister going around her, which helps her in different endeavors. There is also a character that is, well, a spider, which can befriend other spiders. There is also a character which is a literally strong man who needs to maintain as a higher hunger meter as possible, because otherwise he will lose his, well, muscular mass and will become very thin and very weak. And all of those things makes the game incredibly varied, and when you mix and match and combine everything with your friends, well, that becomes even better, because yeah, now you can have multiple talents working with each other. And you will need that, because the world is extremely unforgiving. Because of seasonal changes, the food is not available all the time, even if you already have a set of farms and things like that. The hostile wildlife are pretty hostile and pretty strong, and can affect your sanity quite a lot. And there are also bosses that will, well, be difficult to defeat if you are alone. And overall, this gloomy world and, well, challenging experience keeps you on toes for quite a while. But is everything great with this game? Well, kinda not, because the combat is extremely rudimentary. It's not great because it's like you're chasing someone and you're hitting someone. That's practically what it is. Or if you have a ranged weapon, you are hitting someone from a range. That's all there is. There is no complexity in the combat at all. It's extremely simple. But what it makes a bit worse in Don't Starve Together is that because Don't Starve Together is technically an online game and built a bit differently, it is a bit laggy. But now, speaking of Don't Starve Together, you are probably interested, what is the difference between the base Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together? Well, technically, there are not a lot of differences, but there are still quite differences. Well, first things first, Don't Starve is a single player experience only, while Don't Starve Together is a multiplayer experience which can be played alone as well. So because of these differences, their baselines and base engines work a bit differently. So for example, in a single player game, the controls are much more responsive because you don't have an online lag and things like that. While in Don't Starve Together, the lag still exists. It's nothing that I would say like a game breaking and things like that, but yeah, it's a bit less responsive than the single player game. Plus, the single player game has expansions like Reign of Giants, which expands the base game, Shipwreck, which adds a completely different map and completely different mechanics, and also ability to travel between the base map and the Shipwreck map. And it also adds a Hamlet, which also expands the game and gives an ability to travel between all of those different maps. Don't Starve Together does not have that. However, what it has is much more updates and much more smaller expansions, because Don't Starve Together is supported much more. And for that reason, if in a base game you needed expansions for the different characters that came with expansions and DLCs, here you have all the characters available already. But you also have as paid DLC characters as well, and you also have an ability to buy special cosmetics. So it has kind of like an in-game shop as well, where you can spend money too. But it's mainly cosmetic, except for the characters themselves. But you can also gather the resources in the game itself to buy those characters and buy those cosmetics. But how much will it cost? Well, I'm not gonna go deep into the prices, because this game is on a sale constantly, because this is a pretty old game, and you can buy this game for less than $5 very often. And right now, at the moment of the recording, you can get this game as low as $1.50 for tier 1 countries and less than $1 for tier 2 countries. So it's extremely cheap. So price is not an issue here. So is this worth it? Absolutely. This game is very good. And this game is especially good if you're gonna play it with your friends, because yeah, it's much more fun experience. It's challenging, it's gloomy, it's difficult, and it also has a bunch of different modes as well. I didn't talk about the modes, like you have your regular experience, your survivals, your endless, and things like that. And you can play a bunch of different settings, which will make game more easy or more difficult. So you can suit this game for all your needs. So yeah, if you haven't played for some reason this game, go and play. Don't Starve Together is actually very, very good. So yeah, that's practically what I have to say then. Go and get it. Our YouTube memberships are up and running. And if you like videos done by me, and if you like the reviews that I put out, and everything else as well, consider hitting the join button near the subscribe button under this video. This might not be a lot for you, at least for some of you, but it will be tremendous help for me keeping this channel going. Well, this should be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.